Hello and welcome to Low Budget Gaming and welcome to another Fast Descendant video. So time for an updated junk filter settings guide because I got a couple of questions related to this, and also I haven't done one recently. I made one when the dog first came out. So I thought I'll make an update because there have been one or two adjustments to this. So first step, this is not just about the dog. You can set your junk filter and manually delete the weapons or the reactors or external components. The dog does it automatically for you. So you have to make sure the use for the auto dismantle is selected, and then the dog will take whatever the junk filter settings you have and dismantle them every 120 seconds if your dog is at level 30. So I have a separate video for the dog, so I won't spend too much time on the dog. Just make sure this is enabled and you have 120 seconds. So every 120 seconds when you're out in the battlefield and doing missions, the dog will dismantle. When you are in Albion, the dog does not dismantle. Okay, so that is all you really need to know in regards to dismantling with the dog. Now for the junk filter settings, there's a little more detail, so I'll go into that now. First up, we have the weapons. This one is easy. All you're telling the game is any gun that is ultimate level and is at least level 1, excluded from junk, and if it is enhanced, then of course excluded from junk. So basically, ultimate weapon, even if it's level 1, because when you are researching an ultimate weapon, when it is completed, the research is completed, it comes out at level 1. So you don't want it to be accidentally deleted or dismantled. So you make sure this is set to level 1. So ultimate weapon, at least level 1, and if it has been enhanced, excluded from junk. So basically, any ultimate weapon, you're telling the game not to dismantle automatically. That is it. Very simple. Because the purple guns are not that good now, and there were some good guns in the purple category, but with the introduction, of course, the ultimate weapons are just too far ahead. And so we don't really need the purple guns. Okay, now next is the reactor. This one may seem a little more complicated, but it is also quite straightforward. The first section, once again, we're telling it to exclude from junk any reactor that is ultimate level 100. So we only want level 100 reactors. We don't want anything below 100. So ultimate 100, and if it has been enhanced. So for example, with Freyna over here, this reactor has been fully enhanced. So even if it has one enhancement level, the filter will not dismantle. Okay, so these are the three things that you want here. Now this section is basically regarding these options. So first you have to enable it by using this use button, and then you're telling it to exclude from junk if it meets two of these conditions. So you'll have to set these. I've only put two conditions here, and so if both these conditions are met, only then will that reactor be kept. Everything else will be dismantled. So make sure to select two, because otherwise if you select one, as long as one of the conditions is met and you may have a crap condition on the other option, the reactor will be kept. So make sure to select the two. Okay, now on to this section. So this will depend on what you're looking for. What I'll do is I'll give you a general idea of what to discard and not bother with, and then depending on which reactor you are hunting for, you can select some features. I have detailed videos on reactors and external components if you want to get an idea of what are the useful options on the reactor or the external component and which descendant needs what. I'll maybe link them at the end of the video here. So generally speaking, these three here, additional skill attack against the different legions, do not select them. So make sure these are always set to dismantle. We don't really need them. Now if you're looking for a Colossus reactor, then you can select this one. Then we move on to sub attack. Again, I've never used sub attack on any reactor, so you can discard this one. HP heal is also not used on the reactor. Tech skill powers, dimension skill powers, singular, fusion, these are all useful. Toxic, all the RK type and all the element type, these are used for various descendants. At the moment, I'm only looking for a reactor for Serena. So I want singular and I want cooldown. Those are the two things I want on a Serena reactor. So that's why I've selected these two things. I don't need anything else. Now, besides this, skill cost is not really useful on the reactor. There are some cases I have used skill cost on a Serena reactor, on a Bunny reactor, but again, it's not that important. So generally, this is not used. Cooldown is kind of the most important of these quality of life features. So cooldown on a reactor is usually recommended, I would say. Duration, again, not that much. Occasionally, in some cases, you may need it. Range is also not that useful. Now we have the RK tuning, so we can get some range from there. We also get some range from the inversion reinforcement, so I don't really use range. Hit rate, hit damage, these are again dependent on your build and which descendant needs what. I'll give you some examples here. Non-attribute, and then we are on to all the element and skills. For example, over here with Frena, I'm using toxic mechanics reactor, which is toxic in tech. So what I want is tech skill power and toxic skill power. What I'm using is tech skill power and cooldown. So these are the useful ones. If I wanted a reactor for bossing with Frena, I would use tech skill power and additional attack versus Colossus. So that is basically how you set it up. For example, I said I wanted one for Serena, and I'm currently using this one, fire skill power boost ratio and skill cooldown. The archetype is generally preferred in terms of power, so I want singular and cooldown. This is good enough, but I would prefer singular and cooldown. So that is why I am looking for this one. So basically what I'm telling the game is, if you see cooldown and if you see singular on the same reactor, in fact, I should just make it like this. Do not dismantle them. So if the game gets a reactor with singular and with cooldown, it'll keep it as long as it's ultimate and 100 and all of that. It'll keep that reactor. And for example, if I get the same two things but they're blue, it'll get dismantled. So this is how you set your filter to get what you want, and then you can continue doing your missions and occasionally have a look, and you might actually see a reactor like this sitting in your inventory. Okay, so that is the setting for the reactor. Again, if you want more details, check the video I made on the reactors. Now on to the external components. So I was looking for a full set of MP related external components. So for example, once again, we take Frena. I'm using the Plague set, and what I'm looking for is max HP, max and MP recovery out of combat. The first one in white, that is a default one that you can't really change that. So the other two options are what we want. So max HP, MP recovery out of combat. Then we want max MP, MP recovery in combat, MP recovery modifier, defense, and then on the last one I want max shield and shield recovery modifier. So if I want to set these things on an external component, we do the same thing. Ultimate tier, level 100 only. And now this one here, this is a slightly different option. It says here external components with set effects. Now, as you know, with external components, whether you put 2 pieces or 4 pieces, you get some effects. There are some purple tier external components that also have set effects. Okay, so if we go here and we go down to the purple section, so we have Decimator, it has a set effect. This is a purple one. You have things like Glacial, Auxiliary Power. This has an effect. Okay, so what will happen is if any external component has a set effect, it will get saved even if it is purple. So in order to stop it from doing that, we select this option here. External components with set effects, include them in chunk. So if it's a purple Acrobat set, 2 pieces of that, and it has some set effects, include that in chunk, because we only want ultimate ones. Okay, this will not delete the ultimate ones. Okay. Once again, this section is just to ensure this is enabled. So use and exclude if 2 or more are included. Okay. Now let's set the things for all the 4 pieces. So we want MP recovery in combat. We want max HP, MP recovery out of combat. We also want max shield for the processor. So I'm selecting purple here. MP recovery modifier and defense. This is for the memory. Max MP goes on the sensor. And so these are the things I'm keeping for the main set that I use. So all the skill-based descendants will benefit with something like this. These options, these are best. Now you also get things like resistances. So for example, this one has fire resistance. You also have more shield related stuff. So a few descendants like Keelan, Kyle, Glay, they don't use MP. So for them, we have these different options. You can use them. And also in some cases, let's say you are going to Void Erosion for stage 30, having fire resistance on your auxiliary power instead of MP recovery out of combat could be beneficial because those enemies do fire damage. So there are things, but the main set that I have for all of my components is this one here. Max HP, MP recovery, max MP, MP recovery in combat, defense, MP recovery modifier, max shield, shield recovery, so that you have enough defense, enough HP, shields, and all the MP so that you can cast your skills. Okay, so this is the main set that I try to find. Okay, and I'm setting this to purple because now we have the option of enhancing these external components and reactors using various things. So what I'll do is basically I'll get them at least at purple level so that I don't have to spend too many resources fully enhancing the options. Okay, so this is like a happy medium because sometimes you don't get the 2 golds, or you might get 1 gold or something like that. So having 2 purples makes your life easier. You carry on doing the missions, and when something matches this, the game will keep it. Now, this could be any external component. It could be the plague set, it could be the annihilation set. Whenever those conditions are met, those things will be kept. So that is basically it when it comes to the dismantle settings. It's not that complicated once you understand what you need, basically, and then you can select things based on the level, and the dog will automatically dismantle while you're running the missions. You won't have to stop and look in your inventory. So hopefully that was useful. Thank you for watching. If you have any questions, as always, leave them below. I'll link the videos for the reactor and the external components so you get an idea of what to keep and what to discard.